Teclo Garcia, CEO of the Mission Economic Development Corporation.
And Teclo, today's subject, we're so pleased to catch up with you.
Of course.
Because we know you've just returned from San Luis Potosí. You went to a trade show down there. Tell us what that was all about.
Yeah, that was the Mexico Now Nearshoring Auto Summit, which is a large conference in Mexico revolving around the auto industry and nearshoring from China. It's really a timely conference for us to attend.
Was it an eye-opener for you?
It was, in one sense, that there was so much collaboration and alignment with the industries and how they work together to produce autos and all the auto parts and how they ship them from San Luis Potosí around the world. We expected some things to happen, which we kind of already knew, that there would be a lot of automakers and OEMs there with their primary customer as the United States. And we want to be able to take advantage of that, leverage that with the Anzalduas Bridge. And again, we weren't there just to market Mission. We're there to market Mission. McAllen, our partners, they attended with us, but also the region. We have to compete and use the region.
And we just covered another event you were at, and at that meeting you were telling us that, or you were telling the group, that San Luis Potosí has two big auto plants.
That's correct. They have a major manufacturing plant for BMW, which they make 2 or 3 different models of BMW vehicles there. In addition to that, that plant is growing. It's going to double in size to produce BMW e-vehicles, electric vehicles, along with their batteries. And so they already have 3,500 employees, and you can imagine in San Luis being well-paid employees. San Luis is a very industrious city, a very clean city with nice neighborhoods. And when you have a plant like that, the indirect and induced jobs is incredible. So how many suppliers that they have, how many induced jobs, how many jobs the folks who are making that BMW paycheck spend in the community. Same with GM. GM has even a larger presence with thousands more employees, right? And they use all kind of suppliers. Goodyear has one of its largest manufacturing facilities in North America in San Luis. And even on the retail side, Steve, HEB has 4 stores in San Luis, and one of them I went to is better than any one that we have here in the valley. So it's a very prosperous, up-and-coming city, and those auto plants are really helping drive the economy.
And you were saying today at this meeting that they seem to have mastered the art of developing clusters.
Yeah, and I'm new to cluster development, but they have clusters there. I know other cities do, like Querétaro and Monterrey, but they have the automotive cluster, logistics cluster, and those they have like a holistic approach to the industry. They all get together to talk about needs, what they need to move forward, how to advance, how to make their industry stronger, and they have education and manufacturing and supplying models all together to talk about how to solve their issues, how to meet their challenges together. And it's really great. In fact, we've been invited to join the San Luis Potosí logistics cluster as a board member. And so I want to take that before our Mission EDC board and get that okayed, but we certainly, for me, would come with a complete recommendation to do so. We'd love to get in that and leverage our position and our location to the logistics cluster, and maybe we can develop more commerce that way.
I'm sure it was a bit of a whirlwind tour, but can you remember how many meetings you attended?
The first day we had 6. We got them all in one day, and then we also spoke. We were the sponsors to the opening reception, so we had an audience of like 300 or 400 folks, and we got to speak for a few minutes there, right? So 6 plus that one, and then the next day we had another probably 3 meetings, or maybe 4, and we missed our tour to the BMW factory, but we were in a small audience with the governor and also with the economic development director for the state of San Luis. So very valuable, and we also met with American had impromptu meetings at the conference with lots of American companies and firms that were interested in the valley. So that was all good as well.
And I guess your main message, the key point you wanted to get across, is that Anzalduas is close to being ready for fully loaded
Yes,
cargo.
yeah, that's correct. That was our primary message. Here's where Anzalduas is, and we're going to be ready for cargo in about a year and a half. And there was a mixed bag of responses, like, hey, we don't know where that is, to, yeah, we know exactly where that is, but we didn't know you're going to do cargo. So our mission, even we expected those kind of responses, so we were ready with an education program to let people know where we are. We gave them our handouts, our little zip drives and everything, so they could get our community profile and maps to where Anzalduas is. So this gives them time to ramp up to make a decision whether they want to go through Laredo or they want to go through Anzalduas in the valley. And so we're trying to just give them an education on where we are and what we can do for them.
And so that reception that you've got, that response that you got to that key theme that you wanted to get across, does that tell you that you still have a lot of marketing to do in Mexico?
Yeah, for sure. We have lots of marketing to do, but we expected that. Like, we expect that we need to do that. You're not going to just suddenly get a ton of folks using you if they don't know about you. And that's our job, to get down there and get noticed and raise our profile. And so we're happy to do it. San Luis is good. Some people might ask, why San Luis? Well, San Luis is an up-and-coming city with a lot of automakers, who primarily use Laredo as their port. Nothing wrong with that. Laredo has some good people and some good bridges to cross folks. But the fact of the matter is that port is saturated. There's very long waits. Why not use a bridge like Anzalduas, or to some degree FAR, to cross your goods? And so San Luis is positioned about 4.5 hours south of Monterrey, and they're on two major highways. They can
They're
get
a
to
hub, aren't they?
Yeah, they are a hub, and they're just an hour and a half or so away from Querétaro, another hub, and the Bajío region, right? And they make tons of stuff there. So we want to be able to get in front of San Luis and Querétaro and those kind of communities and markets to market ourselves. So yes, absolutely, that's what you have to do. I mean, we're selling Mission, we're selling the Valley, and it doesn't happen by itself. You got to work it.
So overall, a very positive show for you, and 4 days.
Yes, there were some great bilateral talks. There was some really interesting feedback. We were listening to what people wanted. We were learning. We had no idea some of the suppliers there. We met with the Index of San Luis, which is like their industrial chamber. We met with the COMCE, which is their group of chambers of commerce. We met with the city's economic development office. We met with the state folks. I mean, we met with a lot of
And the
people.
governor.
We didn't meet with the governor, other than we
so-
were in his. And we had there was a small group, maybe about 100 folks and people in the audience when he came to spoke, and so we were there with him, and so we got to meet a lot of people. We met with the leaders of the German Mexican chamber in San Luis, because of BMW and other German industries. There's a lot of Germans in San Luis, so we met with them as well. So yeah, lots of connectivity, lots of connections, and things to build on for the future. You can't do with one visit. This is where just laying the groundwork down to really cultivate that area for more international trade.
Last question, any big projects you're working on now that you want to tell us about here at home?
Oh, well, Steve, we're always trying to work the industrial side, and we're going to make some announcements in the next day or two about some companies that have landed in Mission, so we hope everyone would tune in for that.
We will be here. Teclo Garcia, EDC Chief for Mission, thank you so much for today's interview.
Yes, Steve, of course.